What is up, everybody? Welcome to Andy Fryer Fishing. Got a little bit of a different style video for you today. A couple of my videos that I've posted recently all have a pretty common theme, all been kind of spinner bug beatdowns. So I've had a lot of questions asking for my setup, what the exact spinnerbait is, rod, reel, line, what I'm looking for, where I'm throwing it, all that good stuff. So I want to take just a couple minutes here and just run through all that stuff for you and hopefully answer a lot of the questions. If you guys like this video, like this style of video, kind of a breakdown, a product showcase, if you will, if you like those kind of things, leave me a comment and let me know. If I get a lot of good feedback on this, I might actually try and sprinkle in a couple of these here and there throughout in between my tournament videos. So the first thing I get asked quite a bit is where or how I store my spinnerbaits. I've been through the gamut, just like I'm sure a lot of you guys have, of do I put them in those big old boxes? Do I put them, what do I do with them? So the best way I've found recently has just been in one of these kind of Plano bags. These, I think they're called like a speed bag or something like that. One of these Plano bags here. Actually keep the spinnerbaits themselves in the bags that they ship directly from Blue Rock. Kind of an added little bit of protection there. Helps keep them a little bit more waterproof than just being in this bag here. I usually buy them 8 or 10 at a time, so I just throw them all in this one and I'll grab them as I need them or as it comes up. So this is the 1/4 ounce white double Colorado spinnerbait that I've kind of thrown in most of the videos there that I've put out recently. They're all shot in the spring, so this is by far my favorite springtime bait. This is how they come out of the package here. What I will do is I will trim up. You can see how there's kind of 2 layers of skirt material here. They got the top layer, and then this is the inside layer. I usually add a trailer on almost all of my spinnerbaits, but if I'm ever not adding a trailer, this kind of 2-layered skirt is really helpful because that'll let it kind of flutter as you're reeling it through the water column. But if I'm adding a trailer, most of the time it's just a little swim bait trailer. I'm going to go ahead and trim off that second layer because I don't want that this little layer right here. I don't want that interfering with the swimming tail of the swim bait that I'll put on there. So before I start fishing it, every time especially this one here, I'm going to trim up that little skirt and thread on the swim bait, and you're pretty much good to go right out of the bag after that. You can see right now, I don't know how well it'll come up, but this is a very finesse, very small, compact spinnerbait. Fishing in Ohio, you're just trying your best to get five fish at the end of the day, right? It's a struggle. We've all been there. I've blanked tournaments many times. So I'm gonna throw as compact and as finessey as of a bait as I can get away with and still have confidence that I can get big bites out of it. And this little guy right here is by far my favorite. So when it comes to the rod, reel, line, that kind of setup here, I actually have a very cheap setup that I throw this on, believe it or not. So I've had this rod for, I don't even know, probably 6 years. It's a Denali Fission. It used to be their cheapest rod in their lineup. I don't think they make this anymore, but it's the really unique part about this rod is it's a 610 medium heavy. So it's a very short, pretty light rod. Allows me to be very accurate in my casting. I don't feel like I lose any leverage on getting fish out of heavy cover or anything like that. I have pretty good confidence that if I get a bite wherever I'm able to get this spinnerbait, I'm going to be able to get them out with this even a shorter rod than probably most people throw a spinnerbait on. So this 610 medium heavy has definitely been what I've kind of got comfortable with. The reel here, you can see it's got some battle wounds too. This reel is just an Ardent Apex Elite. It's kind of their workhorse in their lineup too. So like I said, I've thrown this exact setup here for probably 5 or 6 years. And then the line that I've used, I've just recently changed that. I was throwing it on 15-pound line. I had broke off a couple times on some fish way back in the cover. So last year I stepped up to 17-pound fluorocarbon and didn't seem to affect the action, and I didn't really, knock on wood, didn't really break off any or anything like that. So using 17-pound line now, and that seems to work pretty well. Now, the reason why I have such a short rod, if you watch any of the other videos before this, I'm making very short, very accurate pitches, almost a lot of times almost just flipping the bait up next to a tree, a lay down. You can where'd it go? Once you trim up the skirt here and put a big chunk of plastic on this little guy, you can actually skip it pretty well. So I'm skipping this thing underneath docks, underneath lay downs, overhanging trees, that kind of stuff, getting it way up under cover. And yeah, that 17-pound line definitely seems to help get those fish out of the trees and out of all that stuff. So that's kind of been my setup for the springtime. When I'm casting it in there, if I'm fishing 5 foot or less, I'm gonna throw this 1/4 ounce. If I'm in 10 foot, between 5 and 10 foot, I'm actually gonna move up to the 1/2 ounce size, but still gonna be. He actually makes another color besides this one that I really like too. It's called Kicker. It's a white in the front and like a chartreuse in the back right here, and that provides a really good contrast for the fish in muddier water. So that's another one of my favorites that I've been throwing. You can go to bluerocktackle.com. Use the code Andy10, just like right here, and you can get yourself 10% off of these spinnerbaits. Gear up for springtime. I'll throw this one in late fall too, back when the bait fish get real tight schools and they're pretty small. I kind of revert back to this little guy right here again and start crushing them again. So definitely a really good fall bait as well. So something to think of for the upcoming season. My retrieve and what I'm looking for here when it comes to throwing this spinnerbait, like I said, I'm making real short, accurate pitches. Not ever really making a big, long overhead cast. I'm 10, 20, 30 feet away from what I'm trying to fish, and I'm just kind of doing roll casts or even just an underhand flip to try and see if I can get as close to the cover as possible. And when I'm reeling it, I'm reeling it probably this slow. And I've found out that speed of retrieve will get the 1/4 ounce down to about halfway into water column, so that'll get you in that 2 or 3 foot range. So that's why I like it for the 5 foot depth. And if I do that same retrieve speed on the 1/2 ounce, that'll get it down to 5 or 6 foot. So middle of the water column when I'm trying to do 10 foot or less or so. And at all times, I'm actually I might speed up a little to kind of get the skirt to flare. I might give it slack, and that'll actually cause the 1/4 ounce one, especially if you give it slack just a little bit, just kind of flick your rod, point your rod tip more at the bait, it'll actually get the bait to kick up. And I get a lot of my bites doing that. So spinnerbaits going like this in the water column, if you actually give your rod just a little bit of slack, the resistance of these 2 blades will actually cause it to kick up. And if a fish is following it and they see it raise up like that, they think it's getting ready to try and go up and get away from them. So that's been a really good trick that I've learned over the last couple years. But I'm constantly doing something with my rod, with my reel, twitching the rod, giving it slack, flaring it. It's never just a real slow the whole time. I'm twitching it, speeding it, stopping it, starting it, giving it slack, reeling it, giving it some sort of erratic action the whole time while I'm reeling that in. So that's definitely a big trick or a big key whenever you're throwing a spinnerbait, especially in the springtime. You want them to get them to react and go after it. So that's it. That's kind of my setup. That's my rod, reel, line. That's what I'm looking for. That's how I'm retrieving the bait. That's what I do. A couple quick modifications to it. Pretty much that's it. But that's kind of a quick breakdown of what I do with the spinnerbait. Like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Go to bluerocktackle.com. Use the code Andy10. Get you 10% off. Go ahead and get your restock for the season. Don't forget, bass hate me.